Hi, we are live on Google Hangout. Welcome. We are here with Mihir Thaker, one of Australia's top executive coaches, and Natasa and Stuart Denman, the Ultimate Dream Team, also known as the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Dream Team. And I'm really excited to be able to share this with you guys today. We are going to dive in today on some really top-notch content. Mihir is such a spectacular coach and provides so much value to his clients and just does so much great work. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. We're going to dive in with Mihir and talk about one of the new methods that he's working on. We're also going to talk with Natasa and Stuart, who are working closely with Mihir, and we're going to learn a little bit about what they do, how Mihir's helped them, and what it's caused, and the massive results that they've gotten as a result. So, you know, and one of the things you may have seen in our press release, or some of the materials, you know, the Denmans have had just you know, some massive success to the tune of a couple $100,000, more than a couple $100,000 in only 6 weeks from working with Mihir and some of his strategies, which are just fantastic. So, without too much further ado, I'm going to dive in. And I am going to introduce you all to Mihir Thaker. So Mihir, why don't you say hello?
Hey, hi. Hello everybody. This is Mihir Thaker. Glad to be here, Melbourne.
Oh, glad to have you here. Really, really glad to have you here. Excited about this. And Natasa and Stuart, why don't you guys say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, guys. How are you going?
Great. Excellent. So let's just dive right in. And so, Mihir, one of the things I want to check in with you about, and one of the things we like to talk about, like, what does having a coach provide? Why a coach? Why do I need or want to work with you? What is that going to do for me?
I think the key question here is, how good are we at being self-aware with everything that we are doing in our lives, right? So in a business setting, this becomes extremely critical, because somehow as humans, we have a tendency to be very biased about our beliefs, and we tend to stick to our opinions. We tend to stick to our way of doing things. And somehow, if it doesn't work, we always have a way of saying, oh, the market is like this, or they don't get me, right? And this is where a coach or someone who is not part of your ecosystem becomes extremely invaluable, because they are somebody who can look at your blind spots and sit outside of your system and effectively provide you with the right guidance so that you are growing in all directions properly. This is what a good quality coach really does for you, in a way. And that's where you don't end up buying into your proverbial BS, you know, so that you are actually leading by results rather than by your own beliefs. So.
Great. I love that. I love that whole piece about leading by results.
Yeah.
Speaking of results, let's shift over to Natasa and Stuart. You know, I shared about you guys being the ultimate dream team, but I didn't share that you guys are consultants, you're entrepreneurs, you're really successful business owners, you're coaches in your own right. And you know, I know, Stuart, you're doing even more coaching now. So I want to ask, sort of right off the top, maybe you can share a little bit about why you chose a mentor. I know that you guys really believe in mentorship, so maybe you can share a little bit about that with us, and specifically why Mihir, and you know, maybe if maybe beforehand, if you weren't sure, why Mihir now? What is share with us a little bit about the astounding results that you guys have gotten, so that we can hear a little bit about that.
I guess for me, we've always worked with mentors. A lot of the time they've been very specific just on a certain area. They've almost tried to make the change just on a geographic level almost. So do this, you'll get this result. But what has happened with Mihir is it's a total change, it's a holistic change in the way that we sort of view ourselves. He described it perfectly just before. We tend to blame. We get caught up in what we're doing, we look for excuses, and we blame everything else rather than actually allow ourselves the opportunity to grow into the version of ourselves that we really truly want to be and can be. And for me, Mihir just was able to facilitate that with me in a very short period of time, the great thing is that then everything that I've been able to be learned about myself and grown into, I can transfer onto my clients, and the results that they're getting are just outstanding.
Yes.
Nice.
I'd like to say something.
Yeah, Natasha. So tell us a little bit about what why for you.
Well, I'm very results driven, and I wasn't getting the results that I wanted to get at the start of this year. It was actually a hard slog, and I felt like we were going through a lull and a plateau. And I always have believed in my life, whenever I'm ready, the right mentor will turn up. So I have, when I did, I got connected with Mihir, and yeah, 3 or 4 days later, we took the leap of faith to do this experience, and I'm very determined, and I do trust my mentors. That's a very important aspect of this whole journey. And it's been so funny, because it hasn't been like these huge, amazing strategies that we've done. Little tweaks with myself that have resulted in $250,000 in sales in 6 weeks have been the biggest difference, which is now we're well on track to our goal for this year.
Great. And are you comfortable sharing what your goal for the year is and where you were before you started working with me here?
Yes. So in January, I made a goal at the start of the year. I wanted to have my first $1 million year, because last year we finished at about 400,000, and that was like I wanted to triple that. And by April we had done about 100, which in a lot of other businesses is a good amount, but it wasn't quite what I saw as my benchmark of how I see myself evolve and grow as a person and a business owner. So yeah, so now that we have done what we have done, and it's only halfway through the year, we're at about 400,000, and which means that we're well on track to reaching our $1 million year.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to continue to hear more and hear about you guys reaching your $1 million. I don't doubt that you'll get there. That's great.
By the way, did you know that we're actually pregnant for 5
months? You're pregnant.
I'm pregnant. 5 months. And there's absolutely no excuses that we're going to do this, even with having our 3rd child on the way.
Well, that's a great example of just really like not living inside of circumstances, but really inside of living what you're creating for your life. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Great. Mihir, let me ask you. So, we've heard about the great results that you got for the Denmans. Tell me maybe a little bit about what you do with and for your clients, and how do you get these? How do you get these results?
Yeah, so I think I completely agree with Natasha when she said that it's the little tweaks that are sometimes absolutely so significant. Far too often people feel that, they have to do tremendously too many things so as to get the big results. Right, and according to me, I believe that actually that is a classic sabotage pattern, because when you are trying to do too much, you will drop the ball eventually at some place or somehow. So for me, the way I go about doing this is I want to meet all my clients, the people that I interact with, as to exactly where they are at. And as you know, from a coaching space, people always choose a result that is just outside their ecosystem, or something that is not sitting in currently. So the best way is, how do I meet them at where they are at? What is their mindset about it? And how we can tweak just at the right places and open those areas up just enough so that the result that they're after automatically shows up as a natural evolution rather than an effort-based process. Because I don't believe in doing that effort-based, because eventually it's going to recoil. Somehow your system has a way of resetting itself. So that's precisely the attitude and the approach is what I started working with Natasa and Stuart with. That they are so driven, so hardworking, but at some levels, they were just putting in too much effort, right? So and with my engineering background, for me, it's more like, how can I optimize this system, make it more efficient, rather than make it put more blocks and put more weight on it to run. So that's been one of the fundamental reasons why they have achieved the successes that they have.
And I love that piece about, as an entrepreneur, and so often we get caught in this, this notion of too much effort, and I really love that. Like, sometimes we're working too hard in the wrong ways, and it just takes a great coach to kind of adjust and make these subtle tweaks, and suddenly the results can skyrocket.
Right,
Great.
and just to add to that, Morgan, I mean, I think I'm going to speak on behalf of Natasha here because she's also in the process of cleaning up her existing low-paying client base, and she's really bringing on few more high-paying clients. So effectively, one client replaces the work of 4 existing clients at low pay, and that's significant efficiency in the system.
I'm loving that one. That like reduce my clients to a third of what I used to see, and yeah, as you've said, actually, it is not more effort to do the 250 in 6 weeks than what we did in the first 3 or 4 months. So yeah.
Wow, that's a pretty good result. Great. So Mihir, tell me a little bit about the modeling the Las Vegas method. And so what is it? Why is it important? What did you do with the Denmans, and how did you come up with this?
Right. This takes me back to when I was at college in the US and visited Las Vegas for the first time. And it was amazing that no matter where you went, there was always a slot machine. Even in the restrooms, there were slot machines, right? And so I thought, wow, this has been so designed with separating you from your money in every way. And it has been created in such an amazing way that it's so natural and easy for you to do that. Like even when you walk through the casinos, there are all these amazing shopping outlets and food and bars and gambling areas. It's impossible for anyone to walk out of that place without having at least put a quarter in a slot machine somewhere, right? And the key thing that I got away from that is that people always respond to something in life everybody has some sense of value about something that they would respond to. So as a coach, that became very clear for me when I was going to all these seminars, and there were people who were selling just one thing, and there were a ton of people who wanted to buy, but they didn't want to buy that thing. And somehow there was a big disconnect between the person on stage and the people in the crowd that, okay, they didn't know what they were trying to buy, right? So I feel that every opportunity that you have when you're interacting with potential leads, prospect customers, you need to create some sort of a Las Vegas style buffet there. You need to provide some sort of a right value equation, right? Even if it's exchanging an email address, even if it's getting them to sign up for your ebook, okay? That is something that they are giving in return for getting something from you. So if you're, all I'll say is don't have an impoverished menu, essentially. Have enough items on your list of things that every person who you connect with has something to take away from you, so that you can have some sort of an exchange happening, right? And again, so this is the Las Vegas method, that effectively, if you are a coach or if you're a consultant, something, have enough product sets that people can choose from, that they feel empowered. When they have the trust and value creation with you, they know that they can choose few different things from, rather than just signing up for one thing with you, right? So if somebody is to work with, say, Natasa and Stuart, they would want to say, okay, can you do a book unpack for me, or can you do some sort of a LinkedIn profile assessment, or can you do my business coaching, or would you, can I come over for your preview event on how to write your book, or be at your retreat? So that's a wide gamut of things that they can choose from. So, and that's one of the things that we have, in a very subtle way, started to implement with the Denmans, and that's where I feel that their success is as well, and for any other person who's in a similar situation.
Great, I love that, and I love especially this notion of providing options. And you said it. You said don't have an impoverished menu. I really like that. That's great.
That's from my coach, by the way. So.
Nice. Natasha and Stuart, tell us a little bit more about your business, or your primary businesses, and how this Las Vegas technique helped you guys out.
No, you've got to say about the ultimate 48-hour author.
Yes, we did have a significant amount of assets when we started with Mihir. It was about which ones do we, put out there, and which will give us the biggest leverage, and how do people actually end up not just choosing one or two, but actually the full buffet? Because oftentimes what happens with us is people may start consulting with us, and after a month or two they'll upgrade and then do also the ultimate 48-hour author weekend, because it's an amazing value add to what they're doing in terms of building their business and building their menu. So, and then there's also the lower end mastermind group programs that we have got, as well as the free ebooks, and I've got myself.
And the 4 books that you've written.
I have written 4 books myself, so there's those books that they can get. And
we have programs, so everyone that comes in board. So we've got some licensing programs as well. We had a couple of businesses that we've licensed, so that they've got the option that they can come in if they're wanting to start their own work from home business. We have a weight loss consulting business as well that was started off years ago, and also another business consulting business, creating products for profit. So people could really come in and choose a lot of different options that we've got out there. So that was something that we just really, Mihir sort of taught us to value a lot more. Make sure that when we are talking to somebody, obviously we're talking to the right person, but letting them know if they want to buy something from us, they certainly can. They can have a feast. And
at a different level, depending on what they're comfortable with at that point in time. And we don't necessarily, I don't believe you need to say absolutely everything you've got on offer. You need to calibrate the person in terms of what they need and what they're valuing most. And then certainly when they come into your system, you can slot them into other parts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
You get offering too many things to too many different people, you can create confusion. So it's really tapping into, I guess, their number one needs, what they're wanting.
Yep, correct.
I love that. That's great. Would you share with us a little bit about, so I know one of your primary and most acclaimed businesses is the Ultimate 48-Hour Author. I think it's such a fantastic idea. I just love if you guys could give us the sort of top line pitch of what it is and how you help people who want to get their message out get a book written and a book created in very little time. I love it.
Yes, if anyone wants to become an author pretty much overnight, it's the way to do it. I basically was through me just trialing my own book writing journeys of the 4 books that I arrived at the system that you can accomplish this over 48 hours. And it's very much about positioning entrepreneurs, speakers, practitioners and coaches as key persons of influence in their niche. And it's about building their credibility and getting them to be in the media and all that sort of stuff. So the Author Weekend, the beauty and the point of difference of it is that people actually get a whole full package. There's not one person that's gone through this that is not walked away a published author. So we pride ourselves on the 100% results in terms of our clients because oftentimes we feel that there's a lot of amazing programs out there. However, motivation tends to wane after the program, and only 3% of people ever do anything with what they've invested in. So the way I structured it was that if you're going to take this leap of faith, you will be an author, absolutely without a doubt, and that's proven to be right. So we're now getting close to 50 people that we've helped in the last 12 months that are going to go through.
Wow, fantastic. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And Stuart, maybe you can just share quickly with us, because I know you're doing some coaching, and share a little bit about some of the coaching that you're working on and the folks that you're working with. I know you've shifted to focus a little bit to lifestyle coaching and really helping people to get some of what you guys have got in your life, which is great.
You're right. So what I always feel that you are going to attract the people into your life that were basically a version of you a few years ago. They've seen the results that you've got, and one of the things that I was always getting asked is, how do you guys live the lifestyle that you do? You travel all of the time. Your business is set up where you can do it a lot online. You can be sitting with, we've done coaching from Bali, we've done coaching from overseas in Greece, Italy. We can do it everywhere, and people always wanted a piece of that. So what I just tended to work out is that these people, they're often successful. The people I work with are often very successful in one area of their lives. So it might be, their business might be going well again, but they might have plateaued. But underneath that person is someone that's, they're burning on the inside because they've got a terrible relationship with themselves. Their relationship with their partner, with their children and family are really suffering. And I've identified that unless they actually fix that relationship with themselves and to actually work on the relationship with their family, they're never going to be able to take their business to their next level. So that's where I come in, to just clear everything out that is holding them back, that's keeping them in that state, to create the lifestyle that they really want to live and what they often thought that having a successful business would give them.
Great. Excellent. Well, let me just jump back over here to Mihir. We're going to wrap up shortly. But Mihir, tell me why, because you and I have talked a little bit about this and in detail, and just share with me why you like working with Natasa and Stuart and why they're a great example of the type of clients that you really like to work with.
I think one of the key thing for a coach and a client relationship is that there needs to be an immediate trust. There needs to be a trust and willingness to try things out, right? Because at the end of the day, even the coach is human enough, and he or she is also learning by working with the client as to what's really working well and what's not working well. The thing that I love about Natasa and Stuart is that they just take my word for it and they just go out and do it. And if it doesn't work, they come back and say, okay, we tried this, it did not work. And the rate at which they execute is extremely fast, right? I thought I gave them a project once to write an ebook, and within 24 hours, Natasa has sent me this ebook that's already done with the cover and 3D cover and everything. I'm like, wow, this is super fast. So I think having a willingness and a drive to execute, because at the end of the day, you are your beneficiary of your own execution, right? So for me, that's what I love working with them. That I know that if I give something to them, it will be done pretty quickly. There is a drive, there is an ambition there, and a willingness to try, willingness to fail, and a willingness to succeed. I think that's what the key difference is out here, as opposed to a lot of other clients who I see in general. They first and foremost, the execution is a bit prolonged, and then there is too much debating and analyzing how it's going to work, what's it going to do. It's like sometimes just jump in, right? At the most, what, you lose $100 on a Facebook marketing campaign? Fine, okay. It's not like a life breaker, right? It just is a strategy that we are trying to see. There's always learning there. Mm-hmm. So I think that deep desire for them to learn and grow by doing things, that's the best thing. That's the best thing you can get probably at a human level on this planet, is by actually executing rather than just sitting in the headspace.
That's great.
Definitely do. Yes.
Perfect. All right, so Mihir, I'm gonna let you share in a minute just how people can actually get started working with you if they think they're ready, and or if they know they're ready and they really want to work with you. We'll give you the opportunity to share that in a second. But let me just check in with Natasa and Stuart before we wrap up. So, guys, how do we find out more about you, and if we want to work with you, and some sort of, do you have something that you can share with the folks?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, what I can do, working with Mihir, I'm almost filled up with my coaching consulting at the moment, yet I am always willing to wanting to give where I can. So as an offer for anybody who has got an existing business, who knows that they want to be taking that to the next level, to take it a place that they haven't been before, because they just don't know how to do it themselves. They haven't walked in that space before. That's another thing. That's why we love working with Mihir ourselves. If you haven't walked the path yourself, it's very difficult to then show other people how to walk that same path. So for someone that really values their lifestyle and values success in all aspects, I'll actually offer a 60-minute consultation, which is basically an assessment of where they're currently at the moment, work out the hidden blocks that they actually don't even know that they've got, identify ways that they can move themselves through all of the stuff, through all their own BS that they've got going on, to get them to the spot that they want to be. And they can do that. They can email me, Stuart, S-T-U-A-R-T, @ultimatebusinessedge.com.au, and we can have a chat to see if they're suitable to go through that session.
Yeah, and from me,
we'll pop that up. We'll pop that up there so they can see it in a second. And Natasa, tell us a little bit. You got a couple of things coming up, don't you?
Yes, I've got the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Blueprint for Business Success half-day event that I have got coming up in Melbourne and Sydney, as we can see on the screen there. They're both Saturday events, morning, sort of half the day in the morning. I'd love to meet people there. Come and join me. Tickets are just $57, and you get a copy of my Ultimate 48-Hour Author book, which is the whole system behind what we do. And yeah, if people are not local to these cities, I'm more than willing to do a book unpack for them, which actually uncovers the skeleton of their book and makes them realize how easy actually this is to get done.
Beautiful. Great. Thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that our clients are often talking with us about is, well, I'm really thinking about writing a book, and I really would like to write a book. Man, if this course was available up here, I'd be having a ton of people to send to you. So I'm sure I will send a few virtual folks down to you as well. So I'm really excited about this.
When's the next time y'all come over?
I was going to say, that's all right, Morgan. I'm sure Mihir's going to have us doing some retreats over there very soon anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. I was thinking maybe we do an online course, fully online author creation project. That will be a next big strategy.
To keep everything then in sync, we can maybe do it in Las Vegas as well.
Yes.
Great. I love that.
Also Hangout.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Beautiful. Okay, so Mihir, tell us how if we're ready to work, like if someone is ready to work with you, how do they do that? How do they go about doing that?
It's extremely simple. Visit my website. It's mihirthaker.com.au, and out there's a 30-minute strategy session request link. Just click on that button, fill up the form, and we go from there. It's as simple as that.
Beautiful.
Just
Excellent. And how do you start working with someone, Mihir?
So essentially, look, I think initially I do assess if there is a good match. Effectively, do they have a business that is already creating 6 figures at a minimum, and do they have at least some of the basic infrastructural pieces covered, right? If they have a website, some giveaways and things like that they are already in progress to a certain degree. It need not be perfectly fine-tuned. So we go through that process. We do an assessment of where their business is at, where is it that they would like to see themselves in the next 3, 6, 9 months or a year, and effectively I see whether it is a good match in terms of their ability to execute, their ability to be financially sustainable through the change that they are going to go through while working with me in terms of their own marketing campaigns and the investment that they need to make in different infrastructural pieces. So I think those are some of the key things that I look out for. But other than that, it is profound change work and business strategy work.
Beautiful.
So,
and
yeah.
we'll just pop your web address up there so everyone can see it and they can write it down so they know how to spell it.
Yep.
Great. And right on there will be the link for the consultation. Love it. Beautiful. So I think that's pretty much everything. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's been informative and interesting. Great to hear about all the results that you guys are getting over there. Natasha and Stuart and Mihir, I'm very excited to be working with you and seeing all the results that you're getting for all your clients. So I'm very excited for everyone. So thanks very much.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, guys.
Excellent. And enjoy your day.
We will.
It's nearly the end of the day up here I'm in California. You guys are in Australia, but enjoy and have a wonderful rest of the day. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. And everyone can watch the replay live on YouTube. Excellent.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye.